In my ever evolving effort to help you guys understand what a natal chart tells me and how we can learn to come to accept ourselves, trust ourselves, and be at peace with ourselves, I'm actually going to share with you guys a few aspects of my own chart that are actually really, really important to me. So now in my first house, in the house of my physical body and my self-esteem, I have a couple of planets that work for me. They are unforgiving. So a lot of the self-awareness and stuff that I've come to learn and come to develop have come through lessons that haven't always necessarily been easy, but I have come to learn the value in what it is that I know and what it is that I do. And it's one of the reasons that I think my confidence translates to trust in other people. So the first one is actually an aspect between my sun. So I'm a Leo sun. We are ruled by the sun. So in my chart, the sun is really important. It makes a square aspect to what's known as Uranus. Uranus is very whirlwind. It's sudden change. People can often see it as chaotic. And so this is what it translates through in my personality. So, Sun square Uranus. Okay, so this is me admitting to you guys things about my personality that I have come to learn how to work with. It says this square indicates a propensity for erratic behavior, eccentricity, and unwise action. The natives have originality, but often their ideas are impractical, or else they do not possess sufficient perseverance, training, experience, and discipline to carry them out. They tend to work in spurts rather than steadily. I cannot tell you guys enough how true that really is when it comes to trying to place what it is that I do in a practical manner. I struggle with it a little bit, or I get all caught up in my brain because Uranus is air and that's the mind. And so I tend to make it a lot harder than I need it to be, and then it just kind of comes out in weird bursts. So learning how to simplify my life has been one of the most valuable things that I think I've done for myself. So continuing on, it says self-will and an inclination for self-dramatization combined with a dislike for routine procedure can sometimes be their undoing. Irrational behavior due to nervous tension at critical times can cause the natives to destroy what has taken them a long time to create. Pride and desire for freedom at all cost may cause them to ignore good advice. These natives can be leaders of groups and organizations, especially those that espouse human brotherhood. They will have many friendships, but often reserved for people who are willing to be their ardent followers. They make vehement enemies when their antagonism is aroused through some real or imagined justice or injustice. These tendencies are not manifested all the time, but unfortunately, they often appear at critical junctures in the natives' lives. Thus, they impair their chances of reaping the rewards of their efforts. Now, a person can take a look at that and, assume that they're royally screwed with such an aspect, right? That's just not so. I love the idea that there is no good or bad, only the thinking that makes it so. So here's what the interpretation is doing. It's identifying the problem, right? And as an astrologer, it is up to me to help you figure out how to work through that problem. Now let's move on and let's have a look at a positive or easier aspect between my sun and the other planet in my first house, which is Neptune. Now, Neptune we would call that the higher octave of the moon, which is emotional nature. So this is spiritual, right? But it's also illusion. It's also self-deception. But at its best, it is inspiration. So over the years, I have come to learn that when I really truly believe, I cannot help but make it so. It's the idea that when you see it, when you believe it, you'll see it. Yeah, that's how it goes. So this aspect is Sun trine Neptune. This trine gives intuitive ability. Intuitive ability often finds expression in art, music, religion, mysticism, and the spiritual guidance of others. The natives possess a quality of universal love that can transcend the personal, sexual, and physical outlets for this emotion. In its highest form, it can spiritually uplift and physically heal those who come into contact with the natives. This aspect does have its practical side and can give insight into business and stock market investments. There is also an ability to flow with the subtle currents of life so that the natives have an instinct for being in the right place at the right time, saying the right thing to the right person. It helps for me to be aware of that. It also helps for me to trust the things that come out of my mouth. Now, I read you an aspect between my sun and Uranus that was a little bit more difficult for most people to accept and swallow. But here's where I actually have a fantastic aspect between Uranus and another planet called Venus. Venus is all about our values. It's also love. Okay? So this is Venus trine Uranus. This trine indicates an effervescent, fun-loving nature that is full of surprises and tends to see the bright side of life. It gives spontaneous quality, which is favorable for the performing arts. The natives frequently have exciting romances and marriages, unusual friends, and much popularity. There can be sudden good fortune in financial matters. In any artistic endeavor, these people will have a distinctive style. Their endeavors are often associated with electronic media such as radio, television, and recording, kind of like what I'm doing right now. The good fortune brought by this aspect is usually the result of the joyous outlook on life which attracts people of importance and money. The natives radiate the happiness that others seek. They generally possess a lot of sex appeal and have no difficulty attracting romance. In a horoscope that indicates tendencies toward deep spirituality, this trine can be of assistance. However, by itself, it does not necessarily signify a profound person. So there you have it. A little bit about me and how I work and how that comes through in an interpretation that I do for people. Now, what I will be doing as I move forward is I will actually be able to record these things for you guys and give you your interpretation, and you can listen to me talk about it through your own speakers. I'm excited to bring this to you guys, and thanks for listening.